During the course of camp, maybe this is a high schoolish question, I might ask it. Do you notice when some of the young guys who are trying to make their mark, who are trying to catch attention, do the extra things? In other words, run balls out, for lack of a better term, just stretch a single into a double. Those things that the veterans would normally do if it wasn't Cactus League.
Right.
Do you notice those
Yes.
type of things?
Yeah, you do. And, a lot of, but we encourage, aggressive play, and those type of things that we want to practice on, and also to, have players overcome some, tentativeness and those sorts of things, just in their total game, because that's how you learn, by pushing, right?
Right.
By pushing. But as far as I think what you're saying, I do think there are players, both pitchers and hitters, position players, that want to make a great favorable impression on us and their teammates, to try to make a spot on the roster. Because I did tell the group early on, first day, that there's some competition for some jobs, both on the pitching staff and position player wise. So go out and play your game. And what that means to me when I say that is, hey, it's play hard, play your game, do little things that help us win, all those things. And I think there's been some guys who are, really playing that way.
And the reason I asked specifically, I'm thinking Tuckman.
Right.
Because I've seen him a number of times. I saw him early in camp take a single, was on first and stretch it into third base. I've
Right.
seen him stretch a single into a hustle double.
Double.
And I talked to him about it, and he said,
You saw him try to steal third base the other day and get thrown out.
Yes, I did. So
Okay,
there's a...
Which is,
some-
right,
yeah.
which is encouraged.
And he told me, he said, hey, I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push the
Right,
envelope.
which is
because
great.
I want to show these
Yeah.
guys my skills.
Right, so whether it's, the guys that we've all talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we've put out there, whether it's, Tapia, Talkman, McMahon, Pat's been hurt, but, Patterson, Cuevas, all these guys who were, AAA players last year. And even a guy like Garrett Hampson, who was, made a great impression this spring. Brendan Rodgers has made a nice impression in a number of areas. What they go through in the morning in drills and fundamentals. There's an impression to be made. So, I'm proud of all the young guys. Daza, Hilliard, how they've played. Guys from the A-ball team. Coming up here and showing well. It's been really great to watch and talk about. Amongst our coaches and to the players about how we want our young players to play, because eventually they'll be our players, and eventually they'll be, limited service time players, and then more tenured service time players. But it all starts, as young players. So, player development's done a very great job of getting these guys ready for big league camp.
What impresses you about Hilliard?
I think with him, just because he's a big man, and he plays a game that's, the physicalness of his game, but the guy runs well. He's gonna, I think he's throwing average now, and I think he has a chance to improve his throwing, just pure arm strength. But I think more than anything, the ability to take instruction so far and apply that in the game or in practice, that's what impressed me. And I think that with this kid, his head is a real advantage for him, in that he's able to take instruction, take advice, and apply it. I mean, quickly.
Is he definitely a corner guy, or would you like to see him play all three?
Well, I think he's played all three.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't, we've talked about this before. Player development's done a great job of moving these guys around, so they're comfortable in all three. But I suspect that he will probably end up in a corner moving forward. But that's not to say he can't play center field.
He's a big dude who
Yeah.
can do the smaller guy stuff.
Right.
The way he runs. That's
No, we've seen a couple different things. You remember the base hit that in the bottom of the ninth against a lefty where he hit the line drive down third baseline for the win. Hit the home run off the lefty in Chicago, tied the game at 2-2. Hit the homer yesterday in a game that was out of reach, but hit it out to right center. That was well hit. You've seen the stolen base. You've seen him run down balls. I mean, he's played well.
At the other extreme, when you look at this club, and you look at your anticipated lineup, your anticipated rotation, the back end of your bullpen, the fact that it is so veteran, is that a sign of the evolution of this franchise, that they're at that point?
I haven't. When you talk about the pitching, I mean,
Well, even the rotation, they're all been here at least a year.
right.
Right. The back end of your bullpen are veteran guys. I'm not saying that you're not gonna have a young guy at some point.
Right.
Your starting lineup is all veteran.
Pretty much veteran guys, yeah. There's a little bit of, Trevor's a 2-year player, right?
Be the third.
Yeah, this will be his 3rd year.
And even
well,
he's established,
right, he's established, yeah.
you know,
So,
as this team tries to get credibility as being a contending team, a factor team, people might not think of some of the things, but, you're it's pretty stable
I
in
would,
terms of that.
yeah, I mean, from my viewpoint, last year was, I think a year of getting to that point where, we're noticed by the league and noticed by, people who follow this game. That, that's a good team. I've heard it from a couple different scouts that they love our young starters. I've heard it from other players that, hey, you guys got a great pen. Our position player group is this and that. I mean, that's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. So now we got to do it on the field, right? We got to do it out between the lines. Where last year, I saw it from the outside that this could happen. But there had to be a belief amongst our players that they could do this, and I think, they gained early confidence because of the start we got off to, and that's a good thing. I mean, that's what I think the goal that Jeff envisioned, and that was the goal that the coaches and I envision what we can become. And now we just have to do it. We have to do it this year and hopefully do it next year and do it the year after that, where every year we're talked about in the conversations of a good solid team.
I thought that last year, winning those early games in April and May really kind of helped set things and back guys' beliefs. Is it, obviously you want to get off to a good start every
Sure.
year, but is it as important this year? Or do you feel like even if you slump early, you're still in?
Well, I think you want to get off to a great start
You
as
don't
opposed to a
plan
bad.
to get
Yeah, no, no, you plan on winning the first time, then winning the night. But you hear me say it all the time. That's why we play. But I would hope that we have enough. We have enough talent. We have enough depth where, we can work through, some bad times or work through some injuries. But last year was a big first step for us in a lot of ways.
When you
We
come
didn't
up
have
with it
it.
like that, a lot of times the challenge is making guys remember what it took to get there. And
Yeah, well, we talk
That
about
takes
that.
it.
We talk about last year in context about what happened, but we also talk about last year that it's over. and every year is different, and we have to think about what we have to do now today.
I did not get a chance to see Jairo Diaz's second inning yesterday. We were walking down to interview guys,
Okay.
and he gave up his first runs of spring.
Right.
Overall, though, what have you seen from Jairo?
Well, I mean, last year I saw, a fellow with a big arm, fine arm, but was not making pitches. Was throwing the ball up, out over the plate, was very inconsistent, pitch to pitch, and got hit around a little bit. Even in some, in back here in some minor league games, got hit around a little bit. And then even during the season, I think we saw sort of the same thing. We saw some balls that, some pitches that were not located, and big league hitters turned it around. We saw some frustration, with some of his outings. So this year I've seen, just as far as the, fundamental pitching, I've seen the ball down. I've seen the ball down around the knees. I've seen action on this two-seam fastball with sink to it. I've seen a better consistent slider down in the strike zone. I've seen overall in his outings, six, 7 outings,
He
baby.
has about 7 innings.
Yeah, just, better pitch quality than what I saw all of last year
So he's taking a step forward.
so far. And just in these,
Sure.
briefing. Now, the true test is when the season starts,
Sure.
wherever he ends up now. And that's the message that will be delivered here, right before the regular season starts. Excuse me, for all players, right? That, what counts is, when the regular season starts. And, if he's pitching well in spring training, it's just a continuation of that. You had success in Arizona, you had success in the spring because you did this. Now continue that on during the regular season, and you will continue to have success. That's why a lot of times when I talk about, I'll talk to our team about, the game doesn't change. You still play it the same way. You play it hard. You play to win, and and you sort of balance that with what you're trying to do as far as improving your game. But, the intensity and what you're trying to do still stay at the high level. And especially, there's, of the 60 guys in camp, there's, really probably 15, 20 guys who are really trying to impress, like you talked about. And they're not, like, working on things, right? They're always trying to improve, but not big drastic things that they're doing in game. But in Jairo's case, it's just getting his feet back on the ground of doing what he can do, because he showed flashes in 16, correct? And we didn't see it much last year. And, this year we'd like to see it again. And we're seeing it, in a small snippet here in spring training.
Anything else?
Did you have Baltimore in the pool?
Yeah.